number 3 here at RCQ Modern number 3 for card art here in Sunnyvale, California. We're going to be coming up with the 2 O's at the table. Akira, why don't you tell us who we got as we hop into game?
So I believe on the left here we have Christian playing Jeskai Control, and on the right John with Domain Zoo. So a blast from the past here, top tier deck from before MH3, coming back with a 2-0 start to the RCQ.
All right, so we see. Ooh, I haven't seen this in Modern for a hot minute. Is this a turn 1 Ragavan?
Yeah, the monkey's back, baby.
All right, so Akira, for those who are tuning in who may be a little new, why don't you go over Domain Zoo and what it do?
So Domain Zoo is a 5-color aggro deck that is looking to leverage a card called Leyline of the Guildpact to turn on Domain, and they're playing all the Domain payoff, including Scion of Draco, Tutorial Kavu, Nishoba Brawler, all the good aggressive creatures, and basically just trying to slam 2-mana 5/5s and trying to kill your opponent.
All right, but on the flip side, I think Christian is trying to slam a 3-mana 6/6 at some point.
Yeah, that 6 is called Phlage, but we see here Solitude, Pitch Solitude, Ragavan.
This is giving me throwbacks here. So we have double Solitudes, we have Ragavans, and we have all sorts of shenanigans coming in. John's going to be going back up to 20, and Christian's just going to pass the turn with mana available for whatever John is going to try to cast.
Yeah, this basically represents Counterspell here, and another Ragavan.
How about second monkey? Well, like you said, there's the counterspell for it.
And so since John here didn't dash the Ragavan, so now probably just get to follow up with another 1-drop. If we have black mana, maybe Thoughtseize could be coming out. I don't know if he would main deck that, or maybe something like a Wow Nakado. Could be.
It looks like John just passing the turn actually doesn't have any follow-up to the monkey number 2.
Oh, he motioned to fetch, but ended up not playing anything. Ended up like not fetching and not playing anything. So pass back to Christian.
Did Christian also pass back the turn? Because this might be fetch on end step from John, and so we may just be having a low resource battle here.
Yeah, no land draw for the control deck, which is pretty big. And this, I believe that's Indantha Triome.
Yes, so that should be giving us everything except for Island, I think?
No, Indantha Triome. Is that
I thought Indatha was the...
Indantha was the Abzan one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Indantha Triome. So no blue, so it's just 4. Still can cast Leyline Binding for 2 mana, but against Jeskai Control on 2 lands, Leyline Binding not too good here.
I'm wondering if John's also packing the full copies of Tribal Flames. That just makes Tribal Flames a 4 damage burn spell to the face of Christian, so that turns that online. But John is playing all right, now Drago. Looks like he is going to be going for Bowmaster, and that's going to be met by a Spell Snare. That's going to be an all-star currently in Modern.
Yeah, I was going to say, having Blood Crypt in the deck means John is more on the version that play Bowmaster. And we did see the Bowmaster come out, but going to get met with the Spell Snare. Follow up with a Surveil land.
All right, so just Thundering Falls, Surveil coming out from John. May potentially be putting something that we don't want to see into his graveyard, and then looks like they just be passing the turn back over to Christian, who we'll see if Christian has any sort of effects at end of turn.
And notably, this turn on Domain now. John does have all 5-color mana.
Yep, he's got that island available. So five different types of lands means Domain is online. Taking a quick peek at the top with Surveil. Is it going to stay, or will it give us pause?
I'm surprised he fetched Oh, that was a fetch on Christian and stuff.
Oh, right. So Christian just did not have land drop number 3 for another turn. So
so the sequencing is Bowmaster on Christian and stuff, get met with Spell Snare, respond with fetch.
All right. So we get the fetch here. We get a shock in of Steam Vents. So now we could potentially wind up seeing all sorts of things. It's a consigned to memory in John's hand in this main deck, but
that's double consigned to memory.
And we get Territorial Kavu.
So here's the one of many 2-mana 5/5 that this domain deck pack. So Kavu gonna get to attack and probably loot away one of those consigned to memory from John's hand. 5 more action.
Yeah, most importantly, this is a 2-drop that John did not want to be spell snared, so played this one with 2 mana available, potentially representing counter magic of his own. And we are going to wind up having Christian just find his 3rd land, though, and pass back the turn. Oh, we're discarding a Tribal Flames.
So John really want to be on the tempo kind of game plan here with just 1 thread backed up with a couple counterspell of his own.
All right, so that just kind of goes to show that John's hand should just be all permission from this point forward, because discarding that Tribal Flames is basically turning this Kavu into like a, well, I guess technically a 3-turn clock. So it doesn't change the clock all too much since Christian was at 16, not 15.
Yeah, and
although with that fetch, that could have been
it's basically a 3-turn clock. Yeah. Oh, Scion of Draco gonna get met with counterspell.
All right, even though that one's in the graveyard, we're gonna pull it up on stream to show everybody why that was so quick to be countered, because this is the big domain payoff from this deck you were talking about, Akira.
Yep, it's a 2-mana 4/4 that gives all your creature keywords for what color they are.
Yep.
So.
And right now, we only have 2 colors on that Kavu, so it would be gaining First Strike and Trample. But when you have Leyline in play,
Yep.
that makes everything happen.
Yep, and the most important thing is hexproof. It's really hard to deal with if you have Scion of Draco plus Leyline of the Guildpact. Oh, he's a Tamio.
All right, so we get the new Modern Horizons 3 Tamio here.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lack of Modern Horizon 3 cards, but
well, there is a Phlage in Christian's graveyard that he was able to surveil away with his Thundering Falls he fetched. So that is threatening to come back at the point in time when Tamio has there's a 4th land, but nope.
Just gonna get eaten by that Kavu.
Yeah, that is the lesser known ability of the Territorial Kavu, which is basically Graveyard Trespasser, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know, coming from a Pioneer standpoint.
Yep, basic. Oh, and a Phlage.
A Phlage of his own coming out from John. So that's just going to be a Lightning Helix to the face, potentially. And that can potentially put us into, if their Tribal Flames is available, that would have been dead range at this point with a land.
I think the last 2 cards are both consigned to memory. So if Christian untap and trying to slam like a 1-ring here.
Like that?
So quick from John. Straight to the point here. And a land? No,
we need a second white source.
We need a second white source. A second white source kills Christian here.
There's that consigned to memory, just countering a triggered ability or colorless spell, which most importantly is 1 mana anti-ring.
Yeah, this card that discard the white source.
We discard the fetchable white source here, so just putting Christian down to 2. What is John going to do? Tribal Flames.
Oh, it had to Tribal Flame.
All right.
All right, Madwood of Force. I think Christian's now empty-handed.
Christian being empty-handed, the Phlage being out of the graveyard means that that's not a capability to kind of play catch-up here. We could have Phlage off the top, and still only 5.
Counterspell off the top, and that is not enough.
All right, so John going to be taking game number 1, Domain Zoo. It might be a little bit old, but it takes down something a little new.
Yeah, that's a pretty dominant game from John. He just kind of come out ahead and stay ahead.
I don't know. Hopefully your deck is in my list.
Christian with a lot of permission, but just not enough anything to back up those permission. No removal spell. I think he been no, that was John that been the Leyline binding. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, a lot of permission, not a lot of removal.
And so that's just going to be the power of resolving that territorial covenant. We saw Ragavan 1, Ragavan 2 not get dashed, and then Bowmaster to bait out the spell snare from John's line of play, resolve that territorial Kavu, and the catch-up mechanic that Christian had, even though he was missing those land drops in the early game, so already on the back foot when you're a more control-y style deck and you're not hitting all of your land drops, which is one of the issues this Jeskai control deck can run into. But the catch-up mechanic there was Phlage, and John kind of knew I need to worry about Phlage from this deck and not a lot else as far as my life total is concerned. So resolves the Kavu, which is the one thing that if Christian isn't hitting land drops, can deal with that Phlage before it becomes a problem.
Yeah, and immediately after Christian bin that Phlage off of a surveil land, John just eat it up with that Kavu right away.
Yep, so making sure that he had the correct interaction there. Now, if you are a Christian, you're going to be on the play-in game number 2. You are more of a control style deck. You're against a deck that is a creature first deck, but does have some control elements, as we saw, like the Consign to Memory. We represented Counterspell on one of those turns with the Kavu that we played. So John does have some permission in his deck, but what are you bringing in as Christian now that you're on the play from your sideboard?
So, as I know, a lot of the Jeskai deck can have like a sideboard combo pivot with dress down paired with Phlage. But here, dress down is specifically good against Domain Zoo because even with Leyline of the Guildpact, if you dress down Scion of Draco, it just loses all ability.
It's got nothing on. It's textless.
Also, it's really funny interaction with Tutorial Kavu because Tutorial Kavu power and toughness is set by domain. If you dress down, Tutorial Kavu just dies.
So it's basically like an Urza Saga token at that point. It's
Yeah,
just poof, out of existence.
yeah, it just died with the dress down on the field. So
That's why when we keep going back to Dominaria, the Kavus are all but extinct.
yeah, I think they all got dressed down by people over there. But also, if Christian is not already on the playset of Spell Snare, I could see all of them coming in.
That makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of 2s coming out from Domain Zoo. With Tribal Flames, we had the Kavu, Bowmaster from John's version. And then if you go on to getting the big things, you can then save your permission or bigger removal spells for those things specifically.
Yeah, and Christian only really worry about a turn 0 Leyline into a turn 2 Scion of Draco here, which looked like John got right in his grip there.
Yeah, he has the Scion, moving cards to the front, probably going to be that Leyline. It looks like Christian is on a mulligan, though. So if you were John now, you won game number 1. Awesome for you. You're on the draw. What is your sideboard plan potentially looking like when you're going up against a more controlling style deck?
So, considering that John have Consigned to Memory in the main deck, I could see some amount of Spell Pierces coming out of the sideboard. Or I think Mystical Dispute is a reasonable card to have. So,
because Spell Pierce from John's side is basically specifically for the counter spells coming out from Christian and Dress Down, I guess, if Christian is running that.
I mean, if you're playing Domain Zoo, you kind of have to account for Dress Down. And we see a little wave from John there.
Camera from John. He's like, I got something I'm going to do. Don't worry about it.
If we do this too much, you can't see. Yeah, if you hold it too close, you can't see the cards. But it's up to you.
Yeah.
I was just talking about Matt. He's saying like, "Oh, can you see my cards?" It's like we can, but you don't have to.
Yeah, we're okay with trying to guess what you got in your hand. That's
Yeah, we don't care about that too much. I mean, part of the speculation here is does he have the Leyline turn 1 or not, or turn 0 or not? And it looks like he does. So John is going to start out with Domain as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and this Leyline gonna let John just play whatever lands he wants. So Leyline just turn all your lands into every basic land type. Still started off with a Surveil land, been a Lightning Bolt.
All right, so we got Bolts and Tribal Flames in John's deck, so definitely playing more of like the aggressive style of the Domain Zoo deck. I know that some people have been playing more of like the permission spell type as well.
Yeah, Domain Zoo kind of evolved into a more tempo-based deck where you're looking to resolve 1 or 2 threat and then hold up interaction like you saw in the first game.
So Domain starts with D, Delver starts with D. Is that the thought process here?
I
Turn
think,
yourself into a Delver deck?
Yeah, I think everything which is just coming around into a Delver deck.
All right, so I'm wondering then if John, by playing Bowmaster and going for the burn spells, do you think he's actually on like the Wild Nacatl and was it Nishina Brawler plan?
Nishoba Brawler?
Yeah.
It maybe not actually. Like,
because we have a lot of black and red mana to get those Ragavans and Bowmasters in play.
yeah, so I think it's more on the not quite Jun, I would say. I would say like Grixis.
Don't get my hopes up by saying the J word.
So a tap land out of Christian.
All right. And I say Confined to Memory would be great here against Scion.
Oh, no, you brought that in.
Yeah, John has the Dream turn 2 and Christian have the answer.
Stealth there here.
And I say, yeah, even John acknowledging, I beat a spell snare here, but I don't beat this Consigned to Memory. But oh, Christian again on a Mulda 6 does not find land 3.
Yeah, as a control player, missing your land drop is so devastating.
And you don't have double blue. You have Arena of Glory and then the Surveil land right there. So you only wind up having one blue available. So John knows now there is no counterspell cast available.
Yeah, and Ragavan resolves. So Spell Snare doesn't do it against Ragavan. Maybe having something like Prismatic Ending for this Ragavan. And Cover Resolve as well.
Christian just not having anything here to combat that. Now, if you go White Source, Wrath of the Skies, maybe, but no, you don't even have the extra energy at this point. So you just have to Prismatic Ending. You decide that Ragavan's the only one you can hit.
Yeah, so... Oh, and Solitude.
All right, Solitude, and gets rid of Leyline Binding in order to do so. So now Christian on a mulligan to 6, basically down to 2 cards in hand, I believe, at this point.
Yeah, so Christian just had to go super negative in card here just to deal with that board.
John's only on 3 himself, though.
Yeah, so that's just the advantage of starting on the play, and your opponent basically mulligan a card with that Leyline in play.
So you're kind of coming to parity then by having a mulligan to 6 in and of yourself.
Yeah. So...
Ooh.
Oh.
All right, we're just going to fetch down to 19 all.
That's kind of interesting from John, that just fetch shocking.
Yeah, I thought we were going to fetch Surveil since we have a cycle land in hand. I don't know what else we have in hand.
I think John want to fetch shock to cycle now.
Ooh, if we're just going... Is this... I'm assuming this may be on...
I think it's on Christian end step.
No, because he tapped out to play the Kavu and the Ragavan.
No, and it passed back to Christian, and Christian sorcery speed, prismatic ending, and solitude.
Right, but you had your 3 lands tapped from Ragavan and Kavu. So this should be on John's turn. So if this is just... okay, so I guess it was at the end of...
no. Oh, he fetched on upkeep.
Upkeep. That makes a lot of sense then. So we upkeep, get our 2 untapped lands. Now, worst case scenario, we can cycle, but we are going to be playing the Endotha Triome instead.
Oh, by Gigantha.
By Gigantha, go. All right, this is pretty good if you're Christian. If your opponent has just bought Gigantha and passed, but then you just draw go, no land 3 again.
Yeah, Christian just like missing all these land drops is just not what you want to be. Like,
right on time.
Yeah, finally found the land 3.
All right, but now we're getting shades of Oko here as we're about to get the Elk beatdown plan coming out from John.
And this Elk is a little bigger than Oko Elk. This is a 5.
Slightly bigger. It's got a 5 power front and a 5 power butt, but we are going to have a fetching of a Triome here from Christian. This is also...
So this represents Leyline Binding.
Yeah, 100%. So maybe second Binding in hand, which would be perfect here since we did wind up pitching 1 to that Solitude. There we go. Have to tap 2, but Leyline Binding, that'll do.
Yeah. I believe that is... I can't tell what Triome that is.
I think that's Roger and Triome. No, it has to be
Ketria
Triome.
Yeah, it has to be Ketria Triome, yeah.
Otherwise, we've had to pay 3 for this Leyline Binding. So we're going to Leyline Binding.
Oh, Leyline Binding, the Leyline Binding.
All right, we can do this. And that one goes away. And the one on John's side is here to stay. So we get the Gigantha back, but that's just a pass from John. So we're not really developing the board state all too much.
Oh, Christian just passed back.
All right, so draw go. Normally benefits the control deck, but not when you're 2 lands behind and there's a 5/5 that is connecting to your face.
So down to 13 for Christian. Let's see if there's any follow-up from John.
All right, we have a land, so we still don't know what those 3 cards in hand could be. It looks like there's 2 spells and an additional land, so maybe... I mean, I see one that has a full border on it, so that might be a Bowmaster from John.
Yeah. Both our players just having opposite problems.
Yeah,
one having too many lands, the other one have none.
I mean, you named your deck after the fact that you need lands. Do you not want to give you lands? Ignore the Leyline of the Guildpact up there covering you up, but...
Yeah, you kind of... At some point, you just kind of want to draw, like, actual spells and just not more mana.
Our Mr. Greedy Pants, you know, we want to draw spells. Looks like we are going to wind up thinning our deck out with these fetch lands just so we can maybe draw some more impactful cards. But at this point in time, with Christian just kind of playing draw go and not playing lands, no removal spells being cast at this point in time, got to imagine there's just a lot of permission in hand, and John just kind of has the green light to keep Giganta going.
Oh, I think we might have the life total backwards. I think John is on 13, right?
I don't,
Because he's fetched shock twice.
but he gained life from the solitude, so he was
Oh,
up
yeah,
at
yeah.
25 at one point.
Oh yeah, because he gained 5 from
Yeah,
the.
we can see kind of on the battlefield here, Christian
Okay,
getting
okay.
himself down to 8.
Oh, it's just not having this answer for this 5. Oh,
do we
and
get-
top deck the Leyline binding, I believe. This
Yeah.
is sorcery speed Leyline binding.
what do we got?
Oh, consigned to memory, the trigger of Leyline binding.
All right, so this is going to be the other use of Consign, which is basically counter a triggered ability. So sure, Leyline can resolve, but it's going to be a 2-mana piece of cardboard.
Yep, just sitting on the board.
Yeah, I should. Yeah.
And Christian couldn't get anything going.
At this point, at least he was doing that end step, but did do it. Oh,
Oh,
all
another one.
That's 4th Leyline binding. Does John have answer 4 for it? No.
This one will resolve. Oh, John just double Leyline of the Guildpact in hand.
And no more Giganta. Oh, Tribal Flames gets Christian down
Gets
to
Spell
3.
Snare.
Spell Snare, that's perfect response there. All right, Christian, land 4, or you're really in trouble here.
Yeah, land for One Ring is kind of
go.
perfect here. Oh, just pass.
I mean, you're incentivized to just kind of wait and hold up your permission at this point. You don't need to sorcery speed slam anything if you don't have a 1 ring. So we're just going to end up having John just
So down to 7. Believe you're going for a Surveil land here.
yeah,
This-
so that also gives us a potential just filter from the top of our deck. We could put a Phlage into our graveyard. We have Arena of Glory on the battlefield.
Yeah, and knowing
Oh.
what John have in his hand, it's just double Leyline of the Guildpact.
I don't think we have double white though, so this should be representing no Phlage, right?
Yes, because these Jeskai Control deck usually only play one of each Surveil land.
Yeah.
So one Meticulous Archive and one Thundering Falls. I don't think you have another one.
All right, we put the prismatic ending off of the Surveil trigger, and then we just pass. So Christian, no Phlage, no ring, but potentially just counterspells galore for whatever John is going to be throwing on the battlefield, which we know is looks like a Bowmaster in hand. You said double Leyline.
Yeah, double Leyline of the Guildpact.
All right.
Which is not great.
All right, 4 lands for the Jeskai Control deck is a much better spot than 2 or 3. Now the Drago may still kind of favor Christian's side of things, as long as John is not just stockpiling interaction in his hand, which we know he isn't.
Yeah, so here Christian kind of turned the corner if he able to land a threat. If he lands something like a Phlage, he pretty much turned the corner with knowing what John have in his hand. Oh, surgical extraction. What's the target
I
here?
think John was saying Solitude.
Oh,
So there is a Solitude. There is a Phlage in hand, but we didn't fetch the other white source.
so I think Christian here just want to hold up Counterspell.
He's got to be. So we fetched for additional red-blue land. So that means that if we find one more red source, we can use Arena of Glory to wind up bringing it back from the graveyard. But at this point in time, we're waiting for just one more mana available, so we can keep up any combination of blue-blue. So we
Yes.
can cast Phlage and hold up Counterspell.
So what Christian is basically just what you said. So one more mana of the red variety, I believe. No, it has to be a white mana, right?
I mean, at this point,
Oh,
if
it's
you
not just
find-
to be a blue mana.
it has to be anything, because at this
Yeah.
point you have the white-blue, you have the Triome, which is blue-red, and then you have a blue-red-green.
Okay, so-
and then you have
and-
blue-red on the bottom.
Yeah, any land let you Phlage hold up Counterspell.
Yeah. So at this point in time, though, counterspelling this Orcish Bowmaster means that shields are down as John draws a card. So if John draws something good, it's going to resolve 100%.
And that surgical extraction need to
Yeah,
leave the battlefield a little bit.
Oh, but
Oh,
John
just
doesn't
like
find anything, so that's just going to be a passing of the turn.
Yeah, and the
All
last
right.
2 cards in his hand are Leyline of the Guildpact. So
All
this
right.
is one of the problem with the domain deck where you want to open with Leyline of the Guildpact, but don't want to draw more of them.
All right, so Christian recognizing that John didn't really have anything going on for him here, decides that he's just going to pull the trigger on Phlage, keep up only 1 mana right now. So that is going to put him down to basically Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, Consign to Memory.
I don't think Christians on spell pierce. These Jeskai Control deck usually don't want spell pierce, but like spell snare and consign to memory is definitely on the table.
I mean, Spell Pierce also doesn't do anything if John resolves a creature, but we have a Supreme Verdict that is face up on the table from that Surgical Extraction, so John knows about that one. So even just like slamming a Kavu or something is not great. You're looking for like Dash Ragavan is like your optimal play here.
Just
but,
more lands and casting a Guildpact.
yeah, let's just play Leyline. Why not? You can still cast that for 4.
Yeah, and the thing about these Domain Zoo deck is they moved away from all the pitch cards, all the free spells, like because there's no more Fury in the format anymore.
All right, there we go. The Dash Ragavan.
Yeah,
Gotta hit Counterspell though. That was just one turn too late.
Oh, found the white source.
All right, there we go. So we're gonna have Christian quickest fetch in the West.
Yeah, gonna see a hasty Phlage here, knowing that John just doesn't have anything going on for him.
Here we go. So we're exerting Phlage with our Arena of Glory. Now, very quickly, what does the exert on Arena of Glory enable us to do, Akira?
So if you exert Arena of Glory for 1 red mana, you get 2 red mana.
Oh, that's pretty good. What else?
If you spend that red mana on a creature, you get haste.
Oh, and we have this Phlage, which, if I recall correctly, has an ETB and a tax trigger.
Yeah, so this amount to 3 on the ETB, 3 on the attack, and 6. So 12 damage in 1 turn, putting John down to 15? Down to 2.
And that's all we needed to do.
yeah.
15 to 2 life total swaps, and game number 2 goes over to Christian on Jeskai Control. Guess you just needed to draw your lands. You just wind up walking away with victory there.
I think Christian also got a little bit of help off of the top of John's deck.
Oh, 100%. John was dead drawing since like turn 4 at that point.
Yeah, just land after Guildpact after land.
And that's going to be something that if you're playing the Domain Zoo style of deck and you are matched up against one of these control decks, if they hit their land drops and you stumble for 1 turn, the Jeskai decks are just so good at completely taking over the game. And that's why those like turn 4 1 ring buy you a turn are so crucial for Christian's style of deck.
Yeah, and we see how fast Christian can stabilize and turn the corner just by casting 1 Phlage.
Yeah. That was wild.
Yeah, just the 1 Phlage, top deck the white source, Phlage back with haste, and close out the game right away.
And so now, John, going back on the play, you got to be thinking, we saw basically the same exact cards that we saw at a Christian in game number 1. I don't think we really saw anything that could have been chalked up to being a sideboard kind of card there from his deck. No. So if you're John, you're going back to your own sideboard. You're thinking about, all right, like, what do I bring in here? Like, so, how do I change my stuff if I'm on the play? Do I take out some of my permission, just kind of go for the throat? Not the card, but...
Yeah, so on the play, I could see being on the draw, you trim down on some amount of 1-drop creatures. Like, you can trim some Ragavan. If you have more 1-drop, you can trim those. And you can play a little bit more interactive on the play, but on the draw. But on the play, I think you board back, and if you did board out those Ragavans, those creatures, and just try to curve Christian out a little bit here.
So you did see it looked like 1 card kind of being swapped out from John's sideboard into his main deck there. We'll have to see. I don't know. That might have also been removing the Giganta from his deck. It looks like that is now on the side of the battlefield. But this is game number 3. Christian on the draw. We have yet to see if they are running the dress down style of deck, or if they are just opting to go for straight up Jeskai. I know that the dress down doesn't necessarily mean that you're running like the Null Drifter type package as well. You could just be running dress down as value, like you said, has a lot of game against the effects coming out from the creatures on the Domain Zoo side. But we'll have to see what game number 3 brings for us, as I do need to reset the life totals. That's probably a good idea. John is not starting at 2. He should have a 0 after that one.
Yeah, and John doesn't look like he's too happy with his 7.
He's definitely got to be considering. He doesn't have the Leyline, it looks like, but considering if the 7 was strong enough, because no Leyline game 1 won in the game.
Yeah, in game 1, John just kind of shoved threats, and Christian got stuck on mana and kind of stumbled. And I think John just trying to do pretty much the same, but no 1-drop this time, no Ragavan.
No Ragavan. And we could see there is a bit of contemplation from John's side as to what land he actually wanted to play. This is probably going to be a fetch like Thundering Falls to surveil something at this point. I think you just need to get the filtration going on. And at this point, do you jam a 2-drop into what is representative of that spell snare?
Yeah, so this can grab either Steam Vent or Hallow Fountain. So Spell Snare is on the table. Like you said, Thundering Falls, just trying to filter out the top of your deck. I think you still jam a two drop here.
Kind of have to, right?
Yeah, because you really don't want to play the land go game against Control.
The only thing I could be thinking of is playing land passing, seeing if Christian fetches, and then
Bowmaster.
Bowmaster.
Yeah, Bowmaster respond.
Oh, he's gonna keep that one on top too. So just draws
Ooh.
up a turn, and let's see what it do. Fetch land. Ooh.
Shock and Blood Grip. So does represent Bowmaster here.
Passing the turn.
Yeah, but no respawn.
No, he is responding here.
Oh,
He was waiting for the sacrifice. So yeah,
There we go.
Bowmaster comes in.
So the play that you were talking about, waiting for your Jeskai opponent to have no mana in play before resolving the Bowmaster.
Man, just get me off camera. Get me off mic. Put me on camera. I got this. I can play
Yeah.
modern.
You can just go in and jam right now.
Just be like, John, I know you were winking at the camera before, giving us all the love, but let me take the wheel.
Yeah.
But we are going to be fetching, it looks like, I think it's Rafine's Tower coming out.
That
of
is
Christian's
Rafine
deck.
Tower, yes.
All right, so we're representing white, black, and blue. So if we are able to find red, then Leyline Binding only costs 2.
So this could represent Raw Green Triumph into Leyline Binding.
That would be pretty solid because that's all the colors of domain, even before John's deck is able to get it.
Oh, not Raw Green Triumph, the Teamer one.
Oh, Catch Your Triumph.
Yeah, Catch Your
Just to
Triumph,
find
yeah.
find red-green.
Yeah, into 1 mana Leyline Binding.
So just for everybody at home, getting to double check the fact that Rafine's Tower is the Esper one. If you played any inkling of Standard, you're probably familiar with Esper and Rafine hand in hand.
Oh, don't remind me of that deck.
Listen, I played Shouldered the Apocalypse in Standard, so Rafine could do whatever the heck it wanted against me, which was absolutely nothing. We are just going to have Arena of Glory. It's not being exerted. That's just a Ragavan post-combat and a passing back of the turn here from John. So we get fetch. Probably going to wind up seeing the Ketria Triumph, like you mentioned, just to have the domain completely online, and there is no threat of any sort of flash spell coming in from John's side.
I mean, could still have a Bowmaster, but probably gonna wait for a more opportune moment, probably on Christian end step. I haven't seen any preordain out of Christian. I don't know if he's on the. Oh, there's the Leyline Binding.
Yep, Leyline Binding just for 1. Probably going to be hitting the Ragavan, but we're going to see here.
Ooh, Stubby
Stubborn
D.
Denial. All right, that one's not even turned on. It's just the fact that Christian Fetch for Triumph walks directly into this, mostly a sideboard card from this deck.
Domain Zoo have been known to main deck Stubborn Denial before, but now probably out of the sideboard.
The greatest force spike possible for
We love a good like conditional permission here.
All right, so Christian taking 2, shocking into Steam Vents in order to do, and just Prismatic Ending. That's going to wind up getting rid of the Ragavan.
And pass it back, representing counter magic.
Yeah, so 2 blue available now for Christian's side. And the Prismatic Ending, X can be 0 here because it has Converge, so you paid the 1 white, and that can target the 1 mono Ragavan.
Yep. Double blue is my favorite color.
Ooh, we got the Exert.
This is Dash Ragavan.
I think he said Exert.
Interesting.
So that would get around Spell Snare, right? Because you're casting
Yes.
the Ragavan for 1. And then a second Stubborn Denial hits the Counterspell on the stack.
Christian down to 9. Oh, find a spell snare off the top.
Ooh, that's going to be great in the Permission Spell War.
But you can only cast it this turn.
That
so.
would be great in a Permission Spell War. That happens right now.
Yeah.
So that's going to be 4 damage coming across to Christian here.
Yep,
2,
he's-
3, 4.
Yep. Look like Christian is down to 9
Down
on
to
his
9.
life pad. Didn't. Yeah, and I mean, Supreme Verdict here is still pretty good.
Oh, Supreme Verdict would be great
Oh, there.
Ooh,
Oh,
one ring.
that is better.
Also pretty good.
I think that's better. Buy yourself a turn. Get to see 4 more cards.
And this was into the open treasure, so this means that John does not have consigned memory in hand.
Yep. So basically, checked for consigned memory and didn't have it.
So one ring now is going to put a bubble around Christian. I don't think the domain zoo decks are on like the Bone Crusher Giant, get rid of the damage prevention clause kind of deal that we were seeing before. So this is probably just going to be John now kind of waiting to see what he can do this turn and then figuring out what he can do to maybe end the game next turn.
Yeah, but the thing is, Christian still have to answer this Bowmaster, right? One ring is good, but in the face of Bowmaster, kind of scary.
Yeah, because we did have the card draw, so that wound up pumping up the army token. So Christian, maybe even going down to 8 there.
Yep.
Yeah, should be going down to
To 8.
Okay, so it goes.
Oh, down to 7.
Yeah, we have a fetch coming out here.
I got something where to
Here's a white mana. It's white basic.
Shout out to Matt Zhu, making sure that the life total pad is updated.
So what does Christian have here?
Exerting.
Oh,
Solitude.
exerting solitude.
Oh man, so this is gonna get rid of the biggest thing on the board and gain us 3 life?
Probably getting rid of this Bowmaster to turn on his One Ring again.
That would probably be solid. And then if you so choose to trade your army token with it, is that why we would exert? We gain 3 life. We're only threatening of taking 2 from Ragavan. I guess we're okay with losing the top card of our library.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a control deck, the top of your deck is more likely to be some kind of instant speed interaction spells. So losing those to Ragavan, not the biggest deal. John tanking about something here with the Solitude on the stack.
I mean, consigned to memory would counter the triggered ability, right? Consigned to memory doesn't. Oh, it counters a
trigger
colorless spell, but
yeah.
the Solitude triggered ability would be the biggest thing that John could be considering. There's no ability to stubborn denial this one because it is a creature. And we don't have ferocious.
And oh,
there we go.
So Solitude just resolve. Now offering the trade with the Orc army here. No, John just takes it.
John should still lose the life from the Solitude there. It looks like that Christian has written that down on his life total over there.
Yeah, down to 15 for John.
All right, so now the Solitude is going to get to do some racing if we so choose.
And I think this race is very favorable for Christian.
Is this a fetch shock coming in from John? It looks like that Christian's shortcutting down to 12. Yes, it is.
So interesting that Christian didn't tap his One Ring on his turn in the face of 2 mana, playing around a second Bowmaster. I think as soon as John tap down that black mana, we'll see Christian activating that One Ring.
He does still have the treasure token available, so
oh, that too.
can
Yeah.
represent another Bowmaster off of that, and taking 2 damage off of that One Ring trigger, and then untapping for 2 more damage is a very quick way for Christian to be put into the trouble spot. He's hasting out this territorial Kavu.
Oh, so tapping Arena of Glory for 2 mana, spending 1 on Kavu and the other 1 on Scion of Draco. So 2 hasty trades.
Haste?
Yeah, so that's the funny thing about Arena of Glory is it just say if you spend this mana on a creature, it get haste.
And that's all that he needed.
Yeah,
He's
that's
going
exactly
to get that.
so.
He's
That's
going to
exactly
take it. Xaxes for lethal. Christian taps the ring, doesn't find a card to save the day. And John on Domain Zoo with some great Arena of Glory shenanigans will take it 1-2.
What a surprising end. 5/5 haste Kavu paired with a 4/4 haste. Scion of Draco off of 1 arena.